All right, Joe and Elizabeth, RX Healthy Habits coming at you with today's You Ask, We Answer video. And in this video, we want to talk about a big question that I think we need to answer. I need to know, I need an answer in my life, and that is this. What's the difference between being overweight and obese, and why is it important to know? Now, I'm going to talk about how to assess your weight using a couple tools, and Elizabeth's going to talk about health risk and risk factors, because combined with your health risk of being overweight or obese and the risk factors, you want to avoid getting into the weeds. And so here's the thing. I'm just going to real quick go through and talk about the two ways to assess your health. Assess your weight. And also, I was going to tell you a quick story if I have time before I turn it over to Elizabeth. So here's the first thing. The best way to assess your weight is to do what they call know your BMI. So you really need to know what that number is. Your BMI is the best tool to assess your percentage of body fat. So it's really a measurement of your body fat. It's called BMI, or Body Mass Index. Now, anywhere, Elizabeth's going to tell you where to find them on RX Healthy Habits and our blog, but you can find this on the internet anywhere. Just Google BMI calculator. You type in your weight and your height. So it'll tell you your number. Now, here's the numbers real quick. 18.5 or lower is considered underweight. 18.5 to let me get this straight now. 24.9 is considered normal weight. All right, 25 to 29.9 is considered to be overweight. So a BMI of that is overweight. That's and then the last thing is anything from 30 and above is considered obese. So those are the BMI numbers. Now 40 or above is considered morbidly obese. Real quick, the numbers. 74% of Americans are considered to be overweight. 47% of Americans are considered to be obese. And a whopping 10%, and especially in the last 2 years since 2020, it's creeped up from 6.6 now to 10% are morbidly obese with a BMI of 40 or above. So what range you want to be in? Obviously, you want to be in the normal, healthy weight range, which is 18.5 to 24.5. And if you're in the overweight range, you want to stay way below that 30 number. Now, in my lifetime, straight up to you, I've been both overweight and obese. In my 30s and 40s, I was overweight. And in my mid-50s, I finally hit the magic number of 30. And my doctor says, okay, you're on 3 meds. Joe, before next visit, if I don't see any weight change in weight, I'm probably going to add a 4th med. So that was kind of the point where I said, okay, I need to do something. Then Elizabeth came along and said, hey, I'm doing something to get my weight down with a program. I'm going to turn you on to it. And I said, okay, I don't think I can lose more than 20, but I did it. Now, what's the second measurement besides BMI? Go and find out what your number is. That's key for your overall health. Number 2, the second number you want to know is your waist circumference, or your waist measurement. Real simple. Right above your hip bones, at the widest part of your body, you want to measure your waist. And it's got to be above your hip bone. And 35 or more for women puts them at higher risk. Their health factors are higher risk if they're above 35. For men, it's 40 inches. So 35 inches for women, 40 inches for men. Those are the 2 assessments. Now, I'm going to turn this over. I don't have time for that story. Maybe next time. I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth, and she's going to talk about the health risks and risk factors.
Well, Brutto was here for the story, so I don't know. He's so funny. He wants to be wherever we're filming. I think he just thinks he's the star. Anyway, he is. So, yes, risk factors. So when you look at, for example, when Joe and I were first talking after we began the program, he always would say, well, I'm thick. I'm just big bone. I'm big bone. So it's not the same. Like, you can't look at the BMI and say that it's the same for everyone, because some people are just bigger boned. That's not a thing. All right, that is not a thing. So scratch that. If that's where you've been walking, that's the wrong pathway. So your risk factors, heart disease, cardiovascular disease is probably number 1. And the meds that Joe and I were both on were because of our risk for CVD, or cardiovascular disease, high cholesterol, low good cholesterol, high bad cholesterol. There's a lot of different factors that we can measure to help you to get healthier, to really look for avoiding those risk factors. The very, very first is your weight. Your very first risk factor is your weight. If we didn't learn anything over the last several years, risk factor, number 1 risk factor in having a bad outcome with COVID was obesity. hands down. They call it whatever they want, other concurrent conditions or whatever they wanted to label it. It was obesity, all right? When you're obese, chances are you've got type 2 diabetes. Chances are you've got high blood pressure. Chances are you've got high cholesterol. And what does it boil down to? If you lose just 5 to 10% of your body weight, those things can go away. They actually can go away. So, do the risk factors stay? Yes, because they're probably familial. They're probably in your genes, and you may never ever get away totally from it, but you can certainly get them down to where you're healthy again, and the meds are not something that are required when you get your weight down under control like that. If the weight goes back up, guess what? The meds come back on board. So I love you too, Brutto. It's very important that you get your weight under control, but then keep it under control. And that's done with a healthy lifestyle. That's not just a diet. That's a healthy lifestyle. So, we want to encourage you to embrace that healthy lifestyle, to look at habits of motion, look at the different things that we have on the website to help you to get healthy, not just diet your way down to a healthy BMI, because that's not going to work. If you go back to the same habits that got you to this dance, you're going to be dancing with the same partner, and that's not what you want. So your risk factors can literally be eliminated by just getting your weight under control, getting it into a healthy range, like Joe was saying, and that's not always very easy to do. And it doesn't necessarily mean just getting it into a healthy range doesn't mean you're going to be skinny. It means you're going to be healthy, right? So that's a very critical component as well. People that are a little older, like we are now, we need to have a little bit of body fat because God forbid we fall. I need to be able to bounce a little bit. So, you don't want to be super skinny. It's just that's not the goal here. The goal is healthy. So with that, do you still have time for your story? I think we'd love to hear your story.
Oh, so no, the story's not that, it's not that big of a deal. It's just that the fact that the doctor, when I went to her and she said, Joe, I'm going to put you on another med, she says, you got some great food in Why Not Your Restaurant, but I got to tell you, you've been imbibing too much and you've been eating too much. So let me put it to you straight. If you don't really take care of this situation, you're going to be, with your risk factors, with your family history, you're going to be in the weeds. So it's not a funny story, but I guess it's a story that told me when she started talking that, and I keep thinking about it. It's exactly why we're doing RX Healthy Habits. We just want people to know that, know your number, get after it. Like Elizabeth said, go to our website, RX Healthy Habits, if you want to find out more. Also, our blog is going to have the BMI calculator there, and you can read more about what we just talked about. But we so glad that we've started this journey, and we're glad you're on it with us. So until next video. Bye, Brute. Say bye, Brutto.
Brutto. He's yawning.
He's yawning.
Time.